graduating in a couple weeks. I transferred from Los Angeles Valley College. I'm majoring in Chicanx and Central American Studies, and I'm minoring in education. A fun fact about me, similar to what Brandon just said, I'm also into acting and directing, and I graduated from a theater academy back in 2018.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to our amazing, diverse panelists that are here with us today. Unfortunately, we are running behind schedule just a little bit, so we're shifting gears here. So what we're going to do is we do have a set of questions drafted just to kind of help us guide the conversation. But, given the time constraints, we're going to ask one question per panelist. And then if another person would like to chime in very briefly, that's also okay. Right. But I'm going to try to run through some of these questions just so that our attendees here can hear different perspectives and hear about different experiences. So the first one would be for Marisol. What do you regret not knowing as a student at your community college? What are some things you wish you knew?
Oh, that it goes by super fast. So before you transfer, my recommendations are to get in touch with your department, whatever major that is, and to meet with the dean or the representative of it. Also, not being ashamed to talk to your TAs or speaking to your professors during your office hours. That is so important because not only does it help you with like homework and stuff, but if you ever plan to do research or apply for graduate school, you are going to need to have connections built. And especially if it's, an area that like you're interested in, make sure that you make connections with your professors and TAs because it's going to go a long way. That's like my number one advice. And I guess I'll popcorn it now to Nazanin.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we're answering everything, but I'm gonna go fast because I think this is important. I wasn't aware of the gap year and how that works with applying to like grad school, professional school, or anything like that. I didn't know applying to them like technically and like getting the results back take a full year. So if you want to, for example, go to grad school or like I'm going to be applying to dental schools, if you want to go like if you would graduate in June and you want to start it in fall, you have to be like applying the year before. And I had no idea about this and I didn't know how that works. So that put me technically 1 year behind. So, and also like know if you have to like take any exams for the school that you want to go to. So for example, I have to take DAT. It would be best for me to like take it the summer that I got accepted, but I didn't know again. So now I'm just like behind. So make sure you know what you want to do. So that would help you out. Alberto, are we popcorning?
Not yet. Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Nazanin. That was very, very insightful. But I wouldn't say that it took you longer. You're just taking your own path and all your own path. And eventually you're going to get there sooner or later. So, you're still determined and focused to what you want to achieve. And we're excited to hear once you get to that destination of yours. Thank you both, Marisol and Nazanin, for sharing. The next question is for Brandon. Could you share what the transfer experience and culture is like at UCLA? From a community college transfer student perspective.
I would say it kind of depends on what you make out of it, because I think generally as a transfer, it's a little more, I don't know if difficult is the word, but I'll use difficult for lack of a better term. It's a little more difficult to like make friends with people who've already been here, obviously, for obvious reasons, because like if you've been here your whole 4 years, like you already have like most of your friends that you're probably regularly around. You're probably not gonna, you might meet people, but like you're not gonna necessarily make those stronger bonds, but you could also as well. But I think part of it is just that you have to put yourself out there and like go to events or go to a resource center of some sort and just meet people, talk to people. And yeah, I mean, because like for me, even more specifically for me, like I'm involved with a lot of like different Black orgs, whether it be like student orgs like Umoja or ASU, or even like I have a lot of friends who are in like Black Greek life, so a couple fraternities, sororities. So I know a lot of people, and I made a couple of connections. So I don't think it's super difficult, but it can be, especially if you don't put yourself out there. But the transfer community itself, a lot of my friends are other transfers or other Black transfers, to be more specifically or more specific. So I think it is just what you make of it, really, to be honest.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brendan. That was very insightful, and I really like how you started off your response, where it really is what we make it out to be. And so that's very, very true. I want to ask maybe Aaron and Aditya if they would like to chime in or add a little bit more to what Brendan has shared with the group.
Yeah, if it's okay. Yeah, like I agree with that notion that it is what you make of it, and that's their individual responsibility. I also want to acknowledge that UCLA specifically is the #1 school for transfer students. I believe we have our own transfer student center. We have like these different transfer organizations and resources. We have like very specific resources, like for example, I use a Southeast Asian Campus Learning Education Retention Center, which is like a retention project for Southeast Asian students like me, but they have a whole transfer component. And like to have resources as specialized and specific like that to like support us, like that's very powerful. And just in general, like a transfer community and a whole transfer center where like we could just walk in, grab snacks and study in between classes. Like I don't think a lot of universities have that. And I think UCLA like is one of the only ones, like one of the only universities to have that. So yeah, like remember it is what you make of it, but then it's also like your environment, like which environment and what community you surround yourself in. So yeah, just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much, Aaron. And thank you, Brandon, as well for that insight. We're gonna move on forward with the next question, and just to ensure that every panelist has a chance to share, this question is for Iridia. What resources or support programs did you take advantage of as a student at your community college? If you can, in retrospect, what are some transfer prep programs or even just on-campus resources that really helped you with your transfer journey?
Yeah, there was a couple of them that I definitely checked in like every week. One of them was the Dream Resource Center. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm a part of the undocumented community. So I was there like every 2 weeks, checking in with my counselor and being like, am I doing everything right? Is this good? Because I was just trying to get into community college and like get out as soon as I could, which honestly, that was a huge mistake. But yeah, definitely the Dream Resource Center. I was able to meet a lot of people from there. That's actually where I was introduced to CCCP. And with that being said, CCCP, I met up with my program coordinator pretty often. I think we created like a really great bond. I was able to lean on her a lot during my community college times. The transfer center, I also took advantage of their health services. I started going to therapy at community college, and that's been like life-changing for me. And besides that, I think that would be it. CCCP, the Dream Resource Center, their health services. And then obviously when I started applying, I was at the transfer center like every day. Sometimes I would just sit there like really overwhelmed, but just being surrounded by other people who were in the same boat as me, like, I don't know, it made me feel a lot better. So those were some of the things that I took advantage of at community college.
Thank you, Lydia. That was very insightful. One of the things that you brought up was visiting the transfer center at the time when you were ready to apply for transfer. And this is something that I want to briefly share, that it's very important that you visit your transfer center. This is for everyone in the room. Even before you're ready to transfer, I had a very similar experience like Lydia, where I didn't visit the transfer center at my community college until I was ready to apply. And I was just so amazed at the amazing resources that they offered that I wasn't aware the 5 years that I was there. And so definitely visit your transfer centers at your respective community colleges. With that, I'm going to open it up to any one of our panelists if they would like to add anything else to what Iridia shared.
I would just say make sure to go to Career Center as well, because they do have a lot of like workshops happening. Make sure anything that you're part of, like your department, your any organization you're part of or career center, make sure you're subscribed to their email list, because they keep like sending out like different resources, and it's perfect to like be subscribed to that email address so you will see it. And like for example, career center has a lot of like different workshops, like from like resume writing or personal statement writing or getting ready for like grad school or finding a job and all that. So just make sure you're in contact with them as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nazanin. And Nazanin, this question is for you, actually. So it's a nice segue. And then I'm going to ask for someone else to chime in after you share your response. But just, if you can just share with the group, why did you choose UCLA? The
Okay,
big question, the moneymaker question.
Yeah. I moved here like 6 years ago, so I did not know anything like about American education or anything like that. So I went to community college, and then everyone around me were saying like UCLA is the school, and like I went to like Pierce College and Moore Park College, and UCLA is the closest UC to us. And everyone were like talking about it, and they were like, that's like the perfect school to go to. And my parents immigrated here for my education. So I was like, if like that's the best school, and I did my research and I did find out, I mean, it's the #1 public school in the nation. So I was like, I have to go there. So that was like my first reason to do that, to like try to get into UCLA. Because like I wanted to get like the best education that I can. And also like again, like this location, I didn't want to go anywhere else because like my parents already like built their life from scratch again. And if I wanted to move, they had to move with me again. And I just didn't want to do that. Another reason was how UCLA has like different like I've been talking so much about grad school and professional schools. I don't know why, but I think because like my application is coming up and I'm like stressed. But it has like a lot of like different professional schools and like grad schools just at UCLA. So you can get in touch with them much easier than like being in different schools. Also, UC schools being research-based schools, it's really, really cool. I thought that means that like there's just like so many like labs that you can join, but just being in the classes, I realized no, it's just like in your classes you learn things with research examples. Like you read articles, like research articles in any class, and like it's just been like super cool. So yeah, I think these were my reasons. Anyone want to go next?
Thank you, Nazanin. That was amazing. Would any one of our amazing panelists like to add to what Nazanin shared? Why did you choose UCLA? We want to know. What was the reason? The Cardi B voice?
I can go ahead and add a little bit. So I think I chose UCLA because I was a scholar at community college. So I knew that CCCP was there. And I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm from out of state. So like community and like family is everything. So just knowing that like specifically like my program coordinator was at UCLA, it made me feel so much better. So I just wanted to go somewhere where I knew I would have like some type of family. I unfortunately wasn't able to work at CCCP for like my first year that I was here, but like I was always there, like supporting and like just watching what they were doing. And then I was finally able to like apply and work. But yeah, it's honestly because of CCCP.
Thank you, Rita. And we call that here the CCCP effect. So you can't get rid of us once you enter the space. All right, thank you, Nazanin and Iridia. So this next question is for Aaron. We want to touch a little bit on funding. And so Aaron, and then of course, I'll ask anyone else from the group if they would like to share. What funding opportunities are available for transfer students at UCLA?
Oh my God, this is a great question to ask me because I'm literally working on a financial literacy presentation for my community next weekend. I'm presenting it, but there's a lot of opportunities here at UCLA. So one thing I want to break down to y'all is that y'all most likely will qualify for what's called the Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan. And basically what it means is that whatever your Cal Grant, your Cal Grant is what covers your tuition. If you get a Cal Grant A, Cal Grant B, like it'll cover your tuition, and there's a middle class scholarship too. But basically Blue and Gold is making sure that like, oh, like if your Cal Grant can't pay your tuition, like let's say tuition's 13,000 and your Cal Grant's 12,000, then it's gonna make sure you get what's called a university grant to supplement that and make sure that you don't have to pay tuition and maybe give you an extra more money. So just from like grants alone, like more often than not, you should be, considering like the demographic of underrepresented, underserved students we serve at CCCP, you're most likely going to be covered for tuition. And in addition to the federal grant, which is a Pell Grant, if you qualify for it. And adding on to that, there's just a bunch of different ways to fund your education. You could work with us at CCP when we start hiring as a student job. You could do an internship, a paid internship, lots of scholarship opportunities. I was like really nervous about not like having a lot of scholarship opportunities before I transferred, but once you transfer in, like take advantage of AAP with their scholarships, Transfer Student Center with their scholarships, take advantage of like all these different scholarships that come to you, honors programs, undergraduate research. I know a lot of y'all, we spoke to some of y'all interested in research, like there are a lot of research programs that provide funding. But yeah, those are just some of the financial opportunities and resources available to you. I don't want to take up too much space, but that's like a rough breakdown.
Thank you, Aaron. You are ready to present. We are so excited to hear how it goes. That was awesome and very detailed. Would anyone else like to add to what Aaron shared before we move on to the next question? Nazanin is saying, see her waving, so that means that you did an amazing job, Aaron. You're ready. You're ready, Robin. All right, thank you, Aaron. Next question is for Marisol. And this has to do with the current global health crisis. So what has been your experience or experiences as a transfer student during times of the current global health crisis? These can include challenges, but it also can include appreciation of maybe flexibility of remote learning or hybrid learning, etc.
Well, it definitely has been a challenge for all of us. But I think being remote or having, because I transferred during the pandemic. So my first year was practically all online. And that gave me more time like to work or do other stuff while my son was in school. So there was that. But other things that made it more challenging was when my son's daycare would close and I would have to find, like outside babysitters. But other than that, I just kind of go with it day by day. Now we're fully back in person and he's set at the University Village school, so he doesn't come back in and come back out. But overall, I think we can all say we struggled during the pandemic. And now we're just kind of getting used to things being normal again. But yeah.
Thank you, Marisol. That was beautifully said. And yeah, I think we still feel the effects of the pandemic, even as we're slowly transitioning back to, in person for the most part, or in a hybrid modality. But with that question, would anyone else like to share their experience navigating their transfer experience during global health crisis?
I was gonna say very similarly to Marisol. I transferred during the pandemic as well. I came. I think I started my first quarter was fall 2020. So I was at home in Rancho Cucamonga like for my whole first year. So as unfortunate as it was, it was still cool to like be able to. I went through some like Zoom events, or I transferred with like my best friend from my community college as well. So I would visit him sometimes at UCLA. But yeah, it's been good so far though. Like out of the negative of being transferring in like the middle of a pandemic, I've still been able to be involved and meet new people and still have a good time. So yeah.
Thank you, Brandon. And this is actually a nice transition because the next question is for you. So Nazanin and you played yourselves when you, no, I'm just kidding. So the question is, if you could go back in time and change one thing as a community college student, what would it be? So what is some advice? If you can go back and change one thing, what would it be? What would that advice be to our current community college students? And Aaron, what are you thinking there? So I might pick on you next.
I would say that I think I don't remember. Somebody said earlier that they regret not being like involved enough in community college. I can't remember who at the moment, but I would say that is my like number one like recommendation for anybody, whether they're at a four-year institution or a community college or even high school, really, is just to get involved in like whatever club interests you. If it is something that has to do with your major or your future professional field, or just something that you like to do in general. The example I always use is like, if it's just something as simple as like chess club and you get involved in chess club, and the next thing you know, maybe you might be also trying to be a doctor, and next thing you know, the captain of the chess club is also the captain of the medical club or something, and the next thing you know, you made a connection there, and now you're within your field while also doing something that you like as well, which obviously doesn't always happen, but even if you're just meeting random people, it's never bad to make connections or like have people know who you are and other people as well. So get involved in anything, whether that be, pre-law club, some type of medical health club, or underwater basket weaving club, whatever you like to do, whatever is your passion, I would say get involved in that, and just meet people, network.
Thank you, Brendan. Aaron, did you want to share? I saw you there kind of thinking.
Yeah, sure. It was kind of hard to think of something like helpful for students, but I think adding on to what Brandon said, like take advantage of opportunities, and especially since y'all are admits to UCLA, taking advantage of like research opportunities at the community college level. And there's a lot of them, like working with the Pi Theta Kappa Honor Society, or like if you're a STEM major, I know there's a lot of STEM programs, TRIO, and all those different programs. And even like introduction to social science classes. Like I think about my intro to sociology class a lot, and I think about the project I did, and I'm like, wow, I could have been more engaged in research and like understanding like, oh, like methods and results and like all this like cool like nerdy stuff, but like understanding like what research really is at the community college level, because I feel like at UCLA, it wasn't until I got here where I learned that research could be me search. It doesn't have to be looking into the new iPhone. I like to say it could be looking into your communities and finding out about the community condition and finding different ways to change that, to find change. And I think that's something that's not really shared. Like when we're in high school, that like research could be in the social sciences, and research could be about our communities, and the research is what is used to like help us like get grants and stuff for like nonprofits and all this good stuff. So just like having more knowledge about research in summary.
Thank you, Aaron. And Aaron's doing a lot of research right now. So yeah, that's amazing, everything that you shared right now. We're gonna move on, just keeping track of time. This next question is for Nazanin. As we all know, most community colleges operate in a semester system. right? UCLA and most of the UCs and the UC system operate in a quarter system. So there's a big change, right? A big transition change. How would you, taking this into account, how would you describe the academic experience and rigor at UCLA? Thinking about that transition from community college to UCLA and getting acclimated with the campus culture, so on and so forth.
Okay, so one thing that I want students to keep in mind is that we were in pandemic, so our technically like a year and a half-ish was all like online. So I do think that now that we're in person and like we're actually taking like our midterms in person, like now like it's our experiences are a bit different, but in general, as the difference of like semester to quarter system, it wasn't that difficult for me because I've taken summer classes before and they're like super short, so they kind of like feel the same, and like it just like you're having like summer semester like 3 times like after each other. So that because of that, like it wasn't too bad as of like semester to quarter for me. Make sure your timing is like super well, because like if you fell behind, it will be like really like if you fell behind like in lectures, it will be difficult to like get on track again, because like the material like builds up on each other, and like it just like it will be like difficult. So in general, make sure you're good with timing, put everything on like different planners, and make sure you're like spending like enough time for your classes. But any other thing, like it's been, oh, now that we're in person though, it's become like a little bit more difficult. Like I just took a neuroanatomy exam and it was not the best thing ever. But again, like the timing is not that bad. It's just like it's a scary, but you can do it. Like I did it. It's like my OChem is still with taking like all of these like psychobiology major classes here. Nothing has beat the difficulty of my OChem class in community college. So never think like university is gonna be like the most like difficult classes ever. We have like super easy classes, we have medium classes, we have like more like towards the difficult, but those difficult you still can do it, because like you just gotta put the time in it. Yeah, that's
Thank you, Nazanin. So we are gonna wrap up our panel. Unfortunately, Brandon had to depart due to another commitment, as well as Alicia and Iridia. But to wrap up, Nazanin and Aaron, what would be your last piece of advice for our students who have been admitted to UCLA or to another institution, and a brief advice for students who still have a few more semesters at the community college? There's
Yeah,
no,
I could.
oh, cool. Awesome. I was gonna say there's no particular order if everyone would like to.
Okay. Yeah, I could say I could go first, so to give Nazanin a break. But this is just like a fun one, but really have fun. You got into UCLA. It's in person now, and hopefully it stays that way. And just have fun. Like I just started playing intramural sport for the first time. My last quarter, too bad, but for the first time, like I touched the volleyball and the football, like for the first time in like 2 years, and it was so much fun. You also make sure you have fun because you earned it. You worked so hard at the community college level to like earn these fun opportunities to have like to just like chill and relax outside of school. And then for those of you in the community college level, same thing, like don't just focus on academics. I know academic can be like weighed a little bit more in the transfer admission process, but don't forget about like, if you do have the time capacity, like aside from like working, like get involved in your community, if you're in an honors program, like make friends there. Like there are a lot of like opportunities to make friends, get connected with the faculty and have them mentor you, like just find these different ways to be involved, at the UCLA level and at the community college level.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Nazanin?
Yeah, I totally agree with Erin. Like, make sure you're having fun at the same time. I realized this like in winter quarter, like last quarter, which is like kind of late, but I'm trying to like go to everything that I can go, but also like study at the same time. But make sure you do that because there's so many fun like events happening at UCLA for a different situation, and make sure you use it and just have fun at the same time of like studying. But for people who are in community college, I say you study hard, but if you're like applying soon and you're worried about your stats and like your GPAs and all, I am an example of someone who is pretty sure she didn't got in with her GPA, but her extracurriculums. So if you are worried about your GPA and like, so I know like some people who didn't even apply because of their GPA, like don't do that. Like you got this. You show yourself because like especially UCLA look at your application as a holistic view. So they'll see like what kind of a person you are and like they'll like admit you because they want like a person like you. And everyone's like unique in their own way. So you study as hard as you can, but also live at the same time. And at the end of it, don't worry about numbers and just show whoever you are. And people who got admitted, make sure you have fun while studying, but also make sure you make connections. Networking is super important at UCLA because there's so many opportunities and there's so many people who can like help you in different ways. So just make sure you're networking and like meeting new people, making new friends and all that. Yeah. Good luck with everything. I'm so excited for you guys.
Yeah, good luck, everybody. Congrats again.
Thank you so much, Aaron and Nazanin. This was amazing. We appreciate you always for supporting our future Bruins. So we can give them a round of applause, use all the emojis to share our excitement and appreciation for their time and expertise. Again, thank you both, and thank you to the rest of our panelists who were not able to stay for a little longer. But we hope that you also enjoyed hearing their experiences. And with that, they're telling me to hurry up. So now we're gonna transition to our raffle and our closing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. So we put the evaluation link in the chat. Please click that link, and we're gonna do the raffle super quick. We know you all got places to go. That's in South. Is that correct? Are you still here?
Awesome. So we will send you, I'll send you an email. I'll send you a message in the chat so you can email us your contact info.
Okay, so now we're gonna do it again. Adonia.
Hey, Husky.
Yeah. Are you here, Adonia? They here? We good?
Should we still give it to them? I don't think our previous. Oh, Adonia's here. Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Sorry, my internet went
Yes.
weird. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Are you here? I don't know. I don't want to butcher your name.
Yes, I'm here. But
okay.
there's an O after the S in my name.
Okay. Subhi or Subhi?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that correction. Okay, and then last but not least. Rodrigo.
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome! Congrats! We will be sending you some swag, some good stuff. All right, I think that's it. Are we good? I think we're good. All right, thank you, Chelly, for putting that together. All right, y'all. So don't forget to do the evaluation. The link's in the chat, but also you can scan this QR code. Give you a few seconds. I think someone will put the link in the chat again, just in case. Okay. So we do have some events for admitted students next Friday. CCCP Scholars Empowering Admittance Reception or Admit Reception. It's been a long day. I'm sorry, y'all. Next Friday, and then there will also be new Admit Transfer Mingle, which is cool. Build community, get to know folks. Definitely take a screenshot of this. If not, y'all need to be following us on Instagram. You need to follow the Transfer Resource Center on Instagram. I can't talk. Instagram's like where is the place to be. We put all events up on there, and we just be, blowing it up, blowing up all y'all's feeds. But yeah, here's some opportunities, and then also Zoom drop-in student support. So we have a CCCP Scholars Welcome Home Bruins Zoom room that we're going to have, a couple Zoom rooms, May 20th and May 27th. We'll have this also on our Instagram as well. And then we also have a virtual hub Monday through Friday. And this tiny URL will kind of give you some more information on where to go and what other information like office hours, things like that. And that'll also be on our Instagram as well. And thank you for joining us. That was quite the day. So much stuff going on. Thank you, Santi, for putting all that information in the chat. Yeah, thank you for spending your Friday with us. It was awesome, and I think we really pulled it off, team. So thank you, everybody. I'm sorry if I sound crazy. I've just been drinking coffee. But yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so much for being here.